Hi there, this is Karen from Soulshimmer Designs, and today's project is especially for Mother's Day. It's a cutting board with a recipe for a special mum. I used the Teckwrap vinyl as well as the Teckwrap vinyl stickers for this project, which was fun to use. So I had this large cutting board at home and I printed out the design just so I could get an idea of how it would work out for me. So you can see at the top and bottom we've got these two flower designs, and in the middle there are the recipe components. So in Silhouette Studio I'm using the trace feature and tracing over the whole of the first flower design and then changing that to the outline. So it will now just give me an outline of actually what I want to do for the print and cut design. So you can see here doing the outline, and then when I move it you'll see the outline of the flower. So I do this for both, and this is the Teckwrap sticker vinyl that I'm using, and now I'm just printing out, setting up first the registration marks on my design and making sure that on my inkjet printer it's all set up at the best quality DPI, so you get a good quality print when you do that from your inkjet printer. So that is now printing, and this is the end result. It's got some gorgeous colours on it, and now I'm popping that on my Teckwrap mat and just flattening it down. It doesn't need a lot of flattening with these, even with these standard tack mats. I find you don't need to put a lot of pressure. And now I'm just printing in Silhouette Studio, or I'm cutting, sorry, and setting that up, and it's now cutting around my print design. So the cutting has now been completed on both of the flower designs, and I'm just slowly peeling off that first layer or the excess from the vinyl sticker, and you can see with the print and cut the blade has done an awesome job there, going around and getting even those smaller, quite delicate pieces on the flower design. So I'm just cutting away. I should have maybe cut this up into two separate pieces, but of course didn't. But you can see here how easy it is to cut off any excess, and then I can peel away the rest and make sure I get all those delicate designs and points from the flower. The next thing is to add on some transfer paper, and you want something that doesn't have too much stick to it, so it might be worth using an older piece, because you want to make sure that it doesn't take away any of the colours when you're transferring it onto your cutting board. And you can see here I've used my squidgy to burnish it down, and now I'm just using my squidgy and my tweezers as well, just to make sure I get all those delicate pieces from the design all onto the board. And there's one little bit there that I pushed down a little bit too hard, and some of the colour came off, but it's not too bad. And one of the pieces came off as well, but I could easily stick that back down. And then for the second flower, same process. I used the same piece of transfer tape, and I think it was actually even better that it was used 2 or 3 times. It was easy to get off from the vinyl backing sheet, as all Teckwrap vinyls are. And then I just lightly pressed down with my fingers on that one. I found I didn't need to put too much pressure, and then you can put a little bit more pressure when you use your squidgy to remove the transfer tape from the design this way. So this one came off quite good. I used my tweezers again for a couple of the leaf pieces and a couple of the smaller, the delicate parts of the design, but it came off quite easily. Just go slowly, you just have to have patience with this part. And then that's the end result using our sticker vinyl, which I thought looks fantastic. And now for the two vinyls that we're using for our decals. is a hollow rose gold, and I used a shimmer white, and you can see just peeling that back easily. This is the main decal, which is Recipe for a Special Mum, and then the next decal that I'm doing is peeling off the white shimmer with all the recipe components, and the pink, or the hollow pink, I used as the offset. So here I'm just burnishing or removing the decal from the vinyl backing and popping it over the offset. So you can see here it says Recipe for a Special Mum. Then removing that, I'm wanting to apply it now to the cutting board, and it comes off easily with that. The rose gold vinyl is quite thick, so it comes off nicely and no problems there. It looks really good. Recipe for a Special Mum. And now with the components for the recipe, I tried first to do it all as one, but it just became a little bit too fiddly, so I just did each piece by itself. And so I had the offset in the rose hollow vinyl, and then each recipe component I just did separately. I just found that was a little bit easier to do than all at once. So I'm just going through each one individually and adding on the white shimmer to the pink hollow offset, and each piece is coming off nicely. I'm finding that if I use my squidgy to burnish down, I get all of the letters. There's no letters that end up staying behind, or it just makes it quite fast. You can see, although this is sped up, it actually in real time it goes quite fast. So I'm using my tweezers there and lost one of my ends, but that was easy to put back with my tweezers. So I'm on to the last one now. So you can see the words are 1 ton of patience, 2 cups of kindness, 1 litre of love, a dash of understanding, a pinch of hope, 3 spoonfuls of fun, 1 can of hugs, and 2 handfuls of laughter. And again, just my 2 missed out there. And then right at the top I had to redo one with 1 ton of patience, and I think that was quite a good fun one, because I did have to have a lot of patience with this design. So now I've got a large piece of transfer tape. This one you could use a normal piece of transfer tape, so it's quite sticky, because you want this whole design to stick down at once. And so now just popping that onto my cutting board. I'm missing one at the top, but we'll do that separately. That is the ton of patience. And you can see just using my squidgy there. It's such a handy little tool, that squidgy, to pull that down. Sometimes I needed it, sometimes I didn't, but you can see that's come off beautifully. And just putting now the last 1 ton of patience, and that is our cutting board done. Really happy with how this one turned out. I also use a bit of the transfer sheets or backing paper if I've got some left over, just to push everything down or burnish everything down. So this is the end result, and I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I think we've all probably got a cutting board in our craft supply that we could use, and there's just the 2 lots of vinyl and the vinyl stickers that you'll need for this project. So thanks so much for watching this tutorial, and leave a comment, as I'd love to know what you think of this project, and don't forget to subscribe.